one of the most common conversations I have with people in my years of being a pastor is people that have found themselves in discord, um, fighting, just in horrible situations with family members or their spouse, partner. And one of the things that I kind of always fall back on is to ask them why. Why, why, why are you beefing? Why are you guys just kind of like fighting or being enemies? And every time I ask why, I typically get the same answer. Because they did this, because they did that, or because I felt this way when this person did this, or I felt that way when this person did that. And as I'm hearing these answers, I can't help but look at the faces of the people that are kind of listening to themselves at the moment. And I can't imagine that in their head at that moment, they're telling themselves, well, it's really not a big deal, right? But then I automatically kind of see like a defense mechanism or another switch in them, which is pride, right? Kick in and say, well, I still have my point, right? I still have my point of view, and this is how I feel, and I'm entitled to feel the way I feel, and so this is where it's gonna be. And even the very few people that ultimately end up losing a family member, the same family member they had a beef with or that they fought with, when you have a follow-up conversation or when you check up on them to see how they're doing, the most common answer you will always get is, I just wish I would have let it go. I wish I would have let it go. It wasn't worth it, right? I'm reflecting on, this tragic situation that happened in DR. And my heart really do go out to the family members that were affected in this tragedy. But it has put me in a place to actually reflect. So many of us, we have the opportunity right now that we are alive, or at least our loved ones are also alive, to just let some things go, right? Talk about certain things, get along. We tend to, I guess we fail to realize how the devil really takes advantage, like really takes advantage of certain situations to leave us at odds with one another, hating one another, becoming each other's enemy over things that really don't matter. Really don't matter. And then when you really analyze the root of it all, the problem is not as big as your pride. Because sometimes a simple conversation or just examining yourself, just taking a moment back from that situation and say, you know what, let me just analyze my behavior. Let me think back on what I'm doing. Let me be real with myself too, right? Like, you know what, I am making this more of an issue than it has to be. When we really think like that, when we really analyze that, we will realize that was what gets in our way is our ego, right? And you can't hold on to your ego forever, because when push comes to shove, when at the end of the day, if you do lose somebody because of death, which is unavoidable, and it could happen at any minute, as we've seen this last few days, it could happen at any minute. It doesn't even matter if you're old, young. It doesn't matter. We see so many examples. We heard of a helicopter crashing into a river with a whole family. We heard of rooftop falling on people in DR. We a few weeks back in Honduras, a small airplane just crashed and killed an artist there and other people. We hear these planes in Philadelphia, a mother with her child. It does not matter. It could be a car accident. It could be a shooting. Life is so fragile. Life is death could come at any single moment. It could happen to you, and it could happen to your mother. It could happen to your father. It could happen to your brother, to your sister, to your husband, to your spouse. It could happen literally to anybody that you love. And what you're gonna live with is a regret of not having to work certain things out when you had the chance. Especially those petty things. You could just let go. You know, one question I always get asked is, well, how do I deal with, after I forgive somebody and do I have to continue dealing with the person? Do I have to continue talking with the person? Well, I'll be honest, you don't always have to continue a relationship with somebody you've forgiven. You don't have to. But is it worth breaking a whole relationship over something that you could have literally just let go completely? One of the things that sometimes we have to learn is how to handle ourselves, how to take care of ourselves, how to take care of our emotions, how to protect our heart after you're forgiving. But when you have forgiven, try to be try to be peaceful, try to live a peaceful life. Don't live with that regret of I wish I could have called, and I wish I could have spent more time with my mother. I wish I could have spent more time with my son. I wish I could have told them I love you more. I wish I could have I wish I could have just not work overtime as much, or when I had that moment that I felt like I wanted to call and check up on them, I wish I would have done it. There is so many I wish, and then the guilt builds up. And let me tell you, the guilt is not for you to live with, but there is also things you could do to kind of like have less of that if something happens. None of us is perfect. We all make mistakes. This is the reason why God has so much mercy and forgive us, because we're not perfect. We mess up. We humans. You cannot hold a human being, another human being, in such a high standard that you cannot be flexible enough to allow them to mess up. People will mess up. People will make mistakes. They could love you and still offend you. They could love you and mess up around you. They could love you and they could sometimes indirectly betray you. It could happen. It could happen. But we need to be gracious enough to extend mercy and say, you know what? This situation is not worth me becoming your enemy. It's not worth me holding on to this bitterness and hates to the extent where I can't eat in peace and I can't sleep in peace and I can't live my life in peace. It's not worth it, y'all. It's really not worth it. Like, sometimes you will see people and they will say it straight up and flat out, like, oh, you don't know me. I could sleep I could eat, I'll be fine. I could do just well without them. In reality, bro, are you really doing well? Because the fact that you're ignoring them doesn't mean that you're doing well. Doesn't mean that you don't have bitterness in your heart. And sometimes you block out the people that you want to block out and take that hurt and that pain and anger towards somebody else. You're really not okay. And you're not going to be okay until you forgive and you let go. And let me tell you, there are certain people, and I'm going to just speak from experience, there are certain people that you could forgive, let them go, and let them go. But there are certain people that is worth to give another chance. Just give it another try. Just your parents, if it's possible, try to reconcile that relationship with your children. Try to reconcile that relationship with certain people that are important for important reasons. Try to reconcile that relationship. Now, the nature of the relationship could change, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I have to just delete you from the face of the earth. Not every relationship calls for that. Not every situation calls for that. But if you are going to go down that route, at least make sure your heart is clean. Make sure your heart is pure. Make sure you're healed. You know, and especially those who are who have walked away from horrible relationships. You owe it to yourself to go into a new relationship happy, to go into a new relationship free. Stop holding on to the grudge, to the anger, and the hate that you have for the past person that hurt you. Because you're doing a disservice for the person that's going to walk in your life. And we need to stop blaming God for everything. God could send you somebody to love on you, but are you, I'll ask yourself, am I really ready to accept this new love? Like, have I really closed the doors to all these past relationships? Have I really closed the doors to this past pain? Did I really like let that go? Did I really heal from it? And live your life with no regrets. That when the day you have to transition from this earth, at least everybody around you could say, I got nothing. I enjoyed my relationship with this person. Or if somebody else in your life transitions, I have no regrets. I'm going to miss the heck out of this person. I'm going to miss you so much. I'm going to miss you. But I'm so grateful I was able to enjoy and cherish every moment that we spent together. We can't allow the devil to continue messing up legacies, to continue messing up. You know, the biggest legacy you can leave behind is the peace in your family. The biggest legacy you could leave behind is healthy children. The biggest legacy you could leave behind is the peace that continues to run and flow through your last name. And it's not worth you letting the devil, the enemy, your ego, your pride, to break that legacy. No. Make peace. If you know somebody right now, if you're listening to this video right now, let's just make this personal. You probably thinking and say, you know what, maybe I should just call my dad one more time. And just tell him that he owes me nothing. I forgive you. And you feel free to reach out whenever you want. Some things hurt. Reliving the past hurt. But it's necessary to relive the past so you could have a bright and positive future. Because you're just going to keep dragging your past into your future. Your past is meant to make you stronger. The past hurt, the wounds, and everything you've been through in your past, it's meant to mold your character. It has made you to be stronger and wiser, so that way you could walk into your future and embrace every single blessing that God has designated for you. But if you keep reliving your past and keep living with the resentment and the guilt and the grudge, there is no way you're going to be able to embrace your future. There's a lot of people that they can't get past a few months in any relationship, be romantic, friendship, business, whatever relationship, ministry. You can't get past there's just certain things you can't get past. You could get past the introduction. You could get past the theatrics. You could get past certain emotions, but when you get that first vibe, when you get that first offense, when you hear that first word that triggers something, everything just crumbles because you have not passed that test of forgiveness, of letting go. Because all this time you're thinking, well, if I forgive this person, then I'm basically exonerating. I'm saying that he did not or she did not hurt me the way that I claim she hurt me. And that's not what forgiveness is about. Forgiveness is, you know what, I'm moving past this. I gotta let them go so I could continue to climb. I gotta let them go so I could continue to walk forward. I gotta let them go and forgive them so I could receive and give love. Because when you can't forgive your past, when you can't let go of certain things, listen, it doesn't matter how sweet the person is. And we could create this idea that somebody's gonna love us out of the past. Listen, if you really believe that, I'm not gonna argue with your logic. But most times, it's not that they're gonna love you out of your past, because they could love you, but if you have so much hurt and resentment and grudge, you can't receive any love. You won't be able to, and then you become a pain, and you begin to hurt people that are trying to hurt you. Your perspective never changes because the way they move reminds you of something that happened in the past. The way they talk, if they say a word, it triggers something. You owe it to yourself to be free. Nobody should have that much power over you for you to not live your life in freedom, not live your life completely healthy, not live your life in the complete wholeness that God has designed you to live in. If you have a family member today, don't have that moment. Do not allow yourself to reach a point where you're gonna have to say goodbye to a casket, because your heart really can't say goodbye, and because you hated the person, or because you thought you hated a person, because you were just so angry at this person, you couldn't have a relationship with the person. Just let it go. Be you. Be free. Ultimately, and I'm gonna just end with this, if somebody ever did you that dirty, still don't give them that much power over you. You gotta show people sometimes, you know what? You did what you did. You betrayed me, you hurt me, but I'm still me. I'm still this loving person. I'm still me. Whatever you did, you did. But whatever you did cannot affect who I am. Whatever you did cannot change the person that I am. Whatever you did cannot cannot fog my future. No, I am who I am. And I'm going to continue to walk into my blessings. And you're more than welcome to be loved. You're more than welcome to live your life. You're more than welcome to when you see me, be at peace. I ain't coming for you. I'm not gonna attack you. But whatever you got going on, it's not gonna affect who I am. I forgive you. I release you. All right? And pray for your heart. And always ask God, search me. Search my heart. Talk to me. Show me those areas about me that I'm not even conscious of. Show me these areas about me that I don't even know about myself. God, just show me what it is that I need to change so that way I could be free. All right? So until the next one, God bless you. Bye bye.